We continue with our ongoing contender series. Beth Lindstrom is the Republican Senate candidate in Massachusetts. She's running against the incumbent Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren. Beth joins me now via Skype. Welcome, Beth. Great to have you.
Well, good morning. Great to be here. Thank you.
So I'm a fan of uphill struggles. I'm somebody who likes to see insurgents trying to shake things up in the political landscape. What are you hoping to accomplish taking on Elizabeth Warren in what is a very blue state?
Well, I have helped elect Republican officials for 30 years here in Massachusetts, so I know it can be done. I actually ran Scott Brown's first race. I know what that looks like, and I know that Elizabeth Warren can be beat. The numbers are there.
Now, tell me, how are you going about trying to convince the voters of the state of Massachusetts that you are going to be a better pick? Look, you know this as well as everybody watching. Elizabeth Warren's a national level political figure. She is, however, part of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, but she's running in a very blue state. So how are you approaching this to try to make some converts to your cause?
Well, I've been going around the state for over a year now, and I've been talking to many people, and they ask me, what has she done? And more importantly, it's the visceral reaction to our senator. And that's the interesting point. Her negatives start at 40%, and they've hovered there for 2 years. So she knows she has an issue, and that's why there is a path to beat her. It really is about, her personal agenda running for president.
Now, there is this surge of interest in democratic socialism because of the victory in the primary in New York by Ocasio-Cortez. But people are talking about democratic socialism a lot more now. Obviously, Bernie Sanders brought it to the forefront of political discussion in the last presidential campaign, or at least in the primary of the presidential campaign. Is Elizabeth Warren somebody that you think is vulnerable on the issue of being too far left and too much a progressive democratic socialist? And how does that resonate with Massachusetts voters so far? How has it been resonating?
Absolutely, and I think you're hit the nail on the head, because what's happening, and I'm hearing it out there, is people say she just doesn't represent us. I mean, she has gone so far left, and you look at the examples. Look at the tax cuts. We just heard this morning the new GDP numbers. I mean, she said that those tax cuts were going to be horrible and that people were going to die. And she was just on CNBC or a TV show the other day saying that she wants to reverse everything, and she wants to make the top tax rate 50% or more. I mean, this is just craziness.
Now, even for Massachusetts, Beth, that sounds like high taxes to me. That seems like an issue where you would get some traction. But I've seen the polls,
Absolutely.
as you have, I'm sure, and you're looking at them every day. She's still way ahead on this one. Are you willing to make her previous history and claims of Native American heritage an issue in your campaign?
Well, I say we don't need to have a DNA test to know where she stands. And that is the real issue here. I mean, there will be some people who want to talk about that. But for me, she has to disclose anything that she wants to disclose. It's really about where she stands on issues, whether it be the healthcare, especially this economy, and just everything. She cannot wait to run against Donald Trump. That's her thing. But she's not running against Donald Trump. She's running against me. And that is where we have to take this conversation. And I'll tell you, like I said, there are even some Democrats out there that have said, Beth, I'm a Democrat, but she's got to go.
If you had one issue that you were going to be able to get Elizabeth Warren to sit down and debate you on right now, one issue that would resonate the most with the voters in Massachusetts, what would it be, Beth?
It is absolutely the economy. I mean, 80% of the people in Massachusetts are receiving a benefit from these tax cuts. I'm a small business owner. We just moved our business because we had some extra money there. People relate to that. And when I talk about how I can sign the front of a paycheck and understand what that's like, creating jobs, they say, you know what, you get it. And that's the big, big difference.
Where do you stand on the issue of ICE and the possible abolition of ICE, which has become a rallying cry for progressive Democrats across the country? What do you have to say about immigrations and customs enforcement?
Well, I would say even President Obama's former Homeland Security advisor, Jay Johnson, said that abolishing ICE is not sound public policy. But I think what's notable here is that Elizabeth Warren didn't go to Washington, and she didn't choose someone to work with on a bipartisan effort to fix anything. She just took up a microphone and went to Boston and started shouting and ranting about it. And that is the big difference. My whole career has been based on being able to work with people across the aisle to create results for people in Massachusetts. And she doesn't choose to do that. She's still in campaign mode, and she's now going on full-on presidential campaign mode.
How have you been treated by the state media in Massachusetts? I mean by the state of Massachusetts media. I mean, how are the newspapers and the various local publications treating you, or Ron? Do you think you're getting a fair shake? Are you able to get your message out more through the national media? Just tell us about that a little.
No, actually, I've been around for a few years here in Massachusetts. I was former Secretary of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation. I was the first woman to run the lottery in Massachusetts. I've actually been involved in 4 startup companies, so that's an area of contrast. But the media has been reporting fairly. Yes, there are some that just want to kind of drill you on all the issues because they're Elizabeth Warren supporters. But for the most part, we've been getting our message out. I've been doing a lot of local cable. I've been doing regional papers, regional radio, and even statewide radio. And we're getting our message out. It's a challenge.
I remember I went to college up there in Amherst, Massachusetts, and
Sure.
an interesting political environment, to say the least. They said no nuclear testing inside town limits, Beth. So I'm sure you agree with that one. Amherst was a funky place.
Well, I'll tell you, and I was just out that way.
Oh, you were?
And there was a farmer out in Hadley, beautiful, beautiful. And I'm sitting there looking at the cows, and he came and said, Beth, he goes, all she does is slam. All she does is slam. And he said, you know what? I can't vote for you in the primary, but I will be there for you in the general. So in Hadley, Massachusetts, to get that reaction, those are good little anecdotes.
All right. Excellent. Well, Beth, we wish you all the best. We appreciate you joining us here. And certainly if you win, you got to come back and tell us how you pulled it off, okay?
Absolutely. If I can pitch my BethForSenate.com, people check me out. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth.
Right. Take
We
care.
got more Rising coming up, everybody. Stay with us.